What the fuck is happening, people? Welcome to the General Banter podcast, coming at you live on the 20th of September. We're going DIY. We're going DIY one more time. Our boy Niall is out of the country. All my gear is in Belfast. So we're going old school. We're old school podcasting with our little recorder. And but that's not going to stop us. You know, that's not going to stop us. Can we play anything from the computer? No. We're taking it back to the old school ranting. And of course, Manscaped are by our side. Is there someone cutting the grass outside? Yes. Do we let that piss us off? Absolutely not. The podcast, as usual, is sponsored by Manscaped.com. Manscaped is, of course, the world's leading ball grooming device. They've got the lawnmower. There's a lawnmower outside my house right now. They've got the lawnmower 4.0. It's the one to go to. You know what I mean? If you want your nuts shaved, you use this thing. You don't go into Boots or something and be like, "Hey, what have you got regarding machinery for shaving my nuts?" Nah, bro. You know now to go straight to the motherfucking Manscaped.com. If you listen to this podcast and you go to Manscaped.com, use the code GEMBAMP1, you get 20% off. I recommend getting the full care package. They sent me a new one there recently. Beautiful. You got the wash bag, you got the boxers, you got the lawnmower, you got the weed whacker. You can stick it in your ears, up your nose if you're a man of a certain age. You know what I mean? You got them pubes coming out your fucking ears. And it's all in there, and you get 20% off if you use the code GEMBAMP1. So all I can say is, cheers, Manscaped. Cam will be back in October. We don't even have anything to plug in this goddamn microphone. And we're doing this. Is this old school?
The General Banter podcast with Colin Jettis.
Right about here, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to get yourself and your soul together. This man will make your liver quiver. This man will make your bladder splatter. Let's all welcome the world's godfather soul.
Colin Jettis.
It's Geddes, actually.
Jettis.
Geddes. Now, a lot of people love the old school intro, but do they love it, you know, with me holding the mic over the laptop and it sounds like a fucking wasps in a biscuit tin? They probably don't like that, but you know what? Fuck it. I could easily not done a podcast, but here we are. We're loving it. The Queen's dead up the hoods. I am obliged to tell you guys that I'm on tour at the minute. I have completed 3 gigs. We'll chat about them very shortly. The tour continues. We kick off again this Saturday in Newry in the Canal Court Hotel. And it's so funny because over the years I have jokingly taken the piss out of Newry. You know, people are like, what's the biggest dump in the thing? And I'm like, Newry. But, you know, people mature and we realise that there are places like Portadown and Strabane which are, you know, equally or even more so a dump. And, you know, I feel like, you know, it's all friendly fire. You know what I mean? The whole country's a fucking dump. There's no one living in a place going, oh my God, do you live in such and such? Because I live here and it's absolutely palatial manor. Nah, the whole place is a fucking kip. Apart from, you know, somewhere up around the coast or something. If, you know, you play a bit of golf, who gives a fuck? But, you know what I mean? Yeah, we're in Newry, and for some reason, it has sold a considerable amount of tickets. A considerable amount of tickets. Probably the biggest pre-sale on any of the gigs. Because we went absolutely overboard this year. We decided to go, instead of just doing regular venues where you sell a couple of hundred tickets, and you go, oh, we're sold out. And then you put your big poster up and it's like, oh, we're sold out all over the fucking place. Bro, these gigs are enormous. I'm basically doing a fucking Ulster Hall in every goddamn town. So, you know, if it's 300 turn up, it's 400, it's 500. There's some of these places hold 800 people. You know? So they're in no danger of selling out. Get yourself down to fucking Newry. I mean, there's already fucking 400 cunts coming to it or something. And I think there's room for a bit more. It's going to be absolutely rammed. In the Sea Anal Connaught. Sea Anal Connaught. Sea Anal Court. Canal Court. Up the Anal Canal. So we're in Newry on Saturday. So looking very much forward to that. If you're listening to this podcast, there is a podcast currently out on my Patreon. I never talk about Patreon. You know, there's people are on their 3rd episode of their new podcast. And they're like, man, 4th episode's available on Patreon. Bro, get on my Patreon. If you're listening to this podcast and you're like, oh, I listen to it every week, I could do with listening to more. Get on the Patreon, and there's fucking hundreds of them. There's videos, there's comedy specials, you fucking name it. But I never mention it, you know what I mean? Because I'm a scatty brain bitch. Anyway, let's have a quick bit of general banter. What is your boy been up to? on the Patreon podcast, we did talk briefly about our stint in Cookstown, where me and our McCann were given. Well, it was a hotel room, but it seemed to be like where they put like staff if the staff have to stay over for the night. You know, oh, I'm working to 12, but I'm back in at 5. Fucking kipping this absolute fucking Fritzl basement in here. So they put us up in there, and if you listen to the Patreon podcast, you will hear a video where Aaron is kind of blasting farts. I could play the audio for you from that right now, which I did on the Patreon podcast. So apologies if you're hearing this twice, but I believe it's worth another go. Essentially, what happened was Armacan farted twice in a row, and I flicked on my camera to be like, "Bro, you okay, mate?" And then, of course, he started laughing really hard and continued to blast farts. So, in a very crass way, I'm going to let you hear this, okay? And now what you're hearing there, if you're on the audio, is a guy laughing and expelling gas from his anus. So he's gone, you know, as his stomach sort of tightens, he's like, and then his asshole joins in and goes, the man's not well. The man is not well, but yeah, we did a gig in Cookstown. It was nice. Had some of the best timed hecklers I've ever had in my life. You know, I have a bit where I'm like, oh, men are better at everything than women. And some guy goes, no, they're not. Name one thing. And then I did name one thing, and she was like, oh, I stand corrected. And then I named 2 more things, and I was like, there you go. Don't act like I fucking haven't thought this shit through, motherfucker. Get back to your sausages. You know what I mean? It is funny how a whole town is just famous for sausages and bacon, yet I go into a shop, don't see any of it. Don't see any Cookstown sausages or bacon, you know? Rebrand, guys, is what I'm saying. But we did our gig there. I feel like I've just been living with Armacan for about a week. You know, fucking every day. Getting in the car, every day we got in the car smelled worse. Now, is that down to the fact that he probably dropped half an iced coffee around the fucking mat? Probably. But every time I got in, I was like, something's getting worse. You know, have you washed yet? I've washed. The whole car smells like goddamn just fucking baby sick. And then you leave the car out in the sun, go back in the car. Like, this is fucking grotesque. It smells like one of those cupboards that people like dry cure fucking steaks in. You know, that cheesy death smell. Anyway. I actually watched the video recently where the guy ate a fucking 100-day... No, sorry, a 1-year aged steak. You know, so you get a nice steak somewhere, and they age it, and it gets this fucking stinking fucking old cock smell on it, and everyone's like, "Oh, that's good, isn't it? That's gamey. Bit of funk off that." And people pay good money for this, you know, 30-day, 60-day, all these different aged steaks. And I don't know why, because I've had an aged steak before, and I was like, "Oh yeah, this is like, you know, the texture of a steak and the taste of a block of cock cheese." You know, it tastes like I'm having a nosebleed into my fucking back of my nose and then also licking a battery. It's fucking disgusting. But people are into it, you know, these rich types. You know, get a bit of money about them and fucking acquire different tastes. Things like, you know, did you ever see those videos of the guys eating the wee fucking bird? Blind Boy did a podcast all about it, you know, they deep fry this little bird and then they put a fucking blindfold on you and you're like, delicious. And you crunch through this fucking stinking dead bird, bones and all, dicks and beaks and all, just chomping on through it. Fucking disgusting. So this motherfucker aged the steak for like a full year, and he was kind of like Latino, so he's like, "Okay guys, today we're going to try the fucking year-aged steak, and on the other plate I got a 30-day aged steak, and then on this plate I got the year-aged steak." And he's got his 2 mates with him. And, I mean, what you have to do is he takes this... I mean, the thing started off like a fucking enormous roast beef looking thing. And then he dry cured it for a year, and it just wilted away and looked like something that fell off a fucking zombie. And then he's like, okay, we got to cut away the waste. And he cuts away all the exposed outer edge. Because that's what's supposed to happen. You know, it somehow seals all the goodness and enzymes in the middle. I nearly did actually book there. And then, he cut all the waste away, and he cuts all the fat away, all the shit, all the edges, and then ends up with something like about the size of, I don't know, like a potato. And you're like, bro, that was about fucking 12 kilos of meat before you did that. And then he cooks it up, and the mates sit down. And he's like, okay, we're gonna do a taste, and they had the 30-day aged steak, and the guy's like, oh, that's a good steak, bro. And they eat the steak, all good. And then of course they take the cube of the fucking year aged steak, and all three of them spit it out immediately, and you're like, what was the point? What the fuck was the point in that? And then one dude swallowed it, and one guy did swallow it, no homo. And also every time someone says no homo, so homo. One guy did swallow it. He's like, am I gonna be okay, man? Am I gonna die? You're like, nah, bro, it's only a fucking year-old piece of cow's arse cheek. Don't you fucking worry about it, babes. But yeah, I was just like, if I had to hazard a guess what that was going to taste like after a year, I dare say it would taste like shit and death. And I'll make up those odds in my head and be happy enough to stick to them. And this guy's like, no, man, it's for the content, man. It's for the Instagram. I gotta do it for the gram. I'm playing the long game, homie. I gotta wait for a full year to eat this fucking steak. Sure enough, gets it near his mouth. What were you thinking, bro? What the fuck were you thinking? But that's content. That's the content world we live in. He's like, man, if I want to invest in myself, if I want to bank myself, like fucking, I don't know, like 2 million hits in a year's time, I'll bung this fucking bit of meat into a goddamn thing here. Dry cure, fucking whatever the fuck it's called. Now, absolutely, what the fuck was I talking about? If you're an old school listener to this podcast, you might be going, this is vintage Geddes, Tangents McGee. The camera flared up there. We also don't have a professional camera guy in here, for fuck's sake. Yeah, people love an old tangent. People love a tangent. But anyway, my point is, I don't know what my fucking point is. We're on tour. Our next gig after that was actually was Newcastle. We recorded a podcast on the day we went to Newcastle, and such a strange experience, because I tell people, I'm like, I'm gigging in Newcastle, and they go, where are you gigging? And I was like, oh, we're doing it in the big function room of the Sleeved Honoured. And people are like, whoa, bro, holy shit, that must be amazing. And not the shit on Newcastle, the hotel's nice, but the people are wild. Niles from fucking Newcastle, and he's wild. He fucking, you're like, do you want to record a podcast? The guy's like, nah, bro, I'm in England running drugs or something. The guy's a fucking lunatic. And the people, wild. There's a lot of people. Most of the crowd were great, don't get me wrong. I think if you had never seen me do stand-up before, you might be like, oh, you fucking did really well. Bit rowdy. But all I'm saying is, when I announced Armacana's support, they booed. So, what does that tell you? Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage, Armacan. Boo. Which is a lesson learned. If I go to somewhere and I'm listening out from behind the curtains and I go, that sounds a bit rowdy, just go straight out. Fuck a support. Just be like, bro, here's your money. You fucking chill out the back, and I'll go on out and fucking head first into these lunatics. But I'm not slagging, baby. But there were some absolute nightmares. For the most part, it was great, but some absolute nightmares. Always up. And here, am I getting sexist, Andrew Tate? Women are fucking stupid. What color's your fucking Seat Leon? Always women. No offense, but I've collected enough data to this point where if I'm being, interrupted at a comedy gig, God forbid you interrupt me, bro. But God forbid, hey Colin, who do those people think they are, talking over your hilarious dick jokes? No, but people decide to have a full night out before they come to comedy, and it's always women, and they're always in the front row, and they always fucking talk like that. Always. you'll make a comment. You're like, oh, I'm married. I fucking hate you know about I mind you fucking ugly cunt. Listen to that. That's a lawnmower. That's a lawnmower 4.0 right outside the fucking window right there. Shock. Or a helicopter. Maybe it's a royal visit. I have no idea. I got a missed call earlier from fucking, it said Buckingham on it. Buckingham. And I was like, oh, the fuck, they must be looking at me to do a quick 10 here at this fucking day 2 of this funeral. Know what I mean? She's been fucking... Anyway, what I'm saying is Newcastle was, for the most part, great. And some lunatics in the crowd. And there was one girl up the side, and she kept... Every time I introduced something, she was like, "Cult cheese. Something else about cut jeans and all." And I was like, yeah, you might have heard a bit I've done about cult cheese, but like, Jesus Christ. Obviously, the whole thing isn't about fucking cult cheese. Some of it is about pedos. And she kept going. She kept going, you know, just shouting shit. And then I said, you know, I'm going to finish here in about 5 minutes if you could shut the fuck up. And she said, I whistled there, which has ruined the whole bravado of the story. She said, "Make me." And then I was like, what did I say? "I don't think there's a dick big enough to fill your mouth." Why did you make me say that to you with your cowering twink of a boyfriend beside you as you vape inside? That's a new thing. Me and Aaron McCann were talking about that. You look out into the crowd now at a comedy gig, blue lights everywhere. People just vape niche, whiz, all over the place. And you know, I'm not a stranger to an oil nicotine product, but like, you know, you do look through it and you're just like, Jesus Christ, bro. What is this, a fucking Ariana Grande concert? I don't know what that means. But, you know, there's just little blue lights everywhere. It's very strange. But yeah, that was a real thing we dealt with. Yeah, we'll be quitting the vapes. Vapes. In the words of Andrew Tate, vapes are gay. And, yeah, it's only a matter of time before the ocean is full of vapes. Seen a video the other day. The girl was like, I'm quitting vaping, and she was getting rid of all of her disposable vapes for about 3 months, and it was like buckets of them. She had fucking cardboard boxes filled with vapes. And I don't know what's worse. For some reason it looks worse because it looks like, you know, 100 bags of crayons. But you're like, what's worse? Fucking that in the sea? Is that easier to retrieve than, you know, something that's like, you know, like cigarette butts? Hundreds and thousands of billions of those. Hundreds and thousands of billions, bro. I know numbers. But we were at Newcastle and we ordered some food, which we didn't pay for, so we'll see what happens there. But you know, the kitchen sent down burgers. But then also before that, a fellow that worked there came in, some young lad, and he comes in. He's like, "Oh, the chef sent this down for a joke," and it was vegan chicken wings. Which we all know is cauliflower battered. And I've done material about this before, about vegans and stuff and the names of their food. Why have you got to call it? Why have you got to still say vegan chicken wings? Why don't they call them vegan nuggets? That makes a lot more sense. Spicy vegan nuggets. Now, were they fucking delicious? They were. They were absolutely banging. But why have you called them vegan? You could have called them vegan fucking fish fingers, vegan fish supper. It could have been anything. Anything battered. Vegan battered sausage. Jokes. It's cauliflower. You know what I mean? Just call it fucking vegan nuggets. Vegan cauliflower nuggets. They were great. You know, cauliflower's a substantial, meaty texture whenever you just, you know, pre-boil it. You just chuck it in the fryer. Can't speak. So we had those, but I don't eat a lot of cauliflower, but I have heard people in the past be like, "I can't eat cauliflower." And you're like, "Oh, why not? You allergic?" And they go, "No, it just does crazy things to my asshole." And I was like, "Why's up? You must have something wrong with your guts." Bro, at the cauliflower, next day, firework display on my ass. That might be TMI for you guys, but I'm just spitting the truth out of my butthole. Bro, eat a lot of cauliflower in a row, man. Jeez. Good luck. Get a muzzle on that shitter. Fucking hell, bro. Disaster. The next day. But anyway, that's just a bit of information for you guys. Then they sent down burgers, and they knew what sort of guys they were dealing with, so they had a gravy boat filled with ketchup. And we damn near had it all, which was very outstanding, impressive. But yeah, Newcastle was good crack, apart from the hecklers. But some drive down, some scenery, guys. Some scenery. At least just have that, Not much scenery in fucking Portadown, Newry. I'll see you on Saturday. Love you guys. Just that's the fucking domino knock-on effect I'm gonna have this whole tour. Just played here, fucking nightmare. Going to this next place, love it. Get there, nightmare. Going to the next place, guys. Newry, could take or leave it. Armagh, love it to death. I'm actually doing a gig in Armagh City Hotel. This isn't a plug, but it's kind of a plug if you want to go. But the promoters who were working down there put up a big sign on the way into Armagh. We don't live too far from Armagh, but as I was driving in, I seen it, and I drove in another day, and it was flat on the floor, and it could have been the wind. There's a few windy days, right? But I hope someone was just hammered and went fucking like walking home. The fuck I stayed that cunt, and then just took a run at it and drop kicked it to the floor. That makes me really happy to think about that. Just someone. I hope they were by themselves, and I hope they couldn't help themselves. Just go like, fucking it is fucking stupid cunt. I fucking hate that fucking sick of looking at this cunt. Then just run at it and kick it over. Class, love it, absolutely love it. Anyway, we'll move on to our what's been going on in the world. You know what I mean? The Queen has been fucking. She got buried. Thank fuck. You know what I mean? Because she was kicking about there for fucking ever. Wasn't she? She was like a fucking Chinese that got delivered to the wrong house about 4 times. She was just kicking about in that box all over the joint. And I love all these videos, I love all these videos popping up on TikTok, This is the part of the funeral they're not showing, and then they show the rooftop, and it's like fucking, snipers, like, ready to pick people off. Class. Love that. But yeah, they finally buried her, thank Christ. Just a week of people going back and forward, Fuck a Queen, why we're fucking paying for a state funeral and all fucking, go up to Scotland, you got some dude just shouting at Prince Charles, your fucking brother's a pedo. Correct. But it's fun, it's, you know what I mean, it's fun to watch. It's a spectacle. They might be spending too much money and putting this motherfucker on the floor, but it's an old spectacle, it's something to watch, The funeral yesterday, they took their time, bro. Walking about the place, people fainting. You had all sorts of people walk, when she was lying in state. She probably was in some state. She'd been fucking thrown about the country for about 8 days. Now people were queuing up for days, coming up, fucking saluting and all that shit. And, they always have these, like, ancient fucking guards. They were like, I've been guarding the Queen since she first was inaugurated or crowned or whatever the fucking term is. And here I am, 78 years later. And they, it's fucking probably roasting in there. They give the guy the old suit with a fucking fluffy hat and an old fucking spear to protect himself. Even though it's probably just more like a letter opener. And then he's standing there. He's like, this is the longest I've stood in 56 years. There was one dude just fucking just ate shit off that platform. Didn't even break his fall. Thunk. Right on the face. While everyone's interviewing David Beckham, your man's just squirming about on the floor. How do you avoid that, by the way, in old age? What do you do, man? Do you keep lifting weights and doing jiu-jitsu so you're used to fucking rolling about the floor and all that shit? Or is it just inevitable that you're just going to fall apart like an old chicken? It's very strange. But yeah, Beckham was there. He was a big spectacle, Real Englishman, which is fair enough. Did he not get something off the Queen anyway? Some sort of fucking, what did he get? Golden Star or something? Whatever the fuck. Got a wee selection box and a wee Golden Star off the Queen. And we brooch or something. He must have got something for services to men's haircuts for all these years. But he, he queued up at like 2 a.m. by himself, and waited the whole time, and then went up and fucking did the wee bow and then fucked off. So, and everyone's like, that's a real man there. That's a real man. And fair enough, fair enough. If you can be hold, but fair enough. And then, who was it? Philip Schofield. He got a bit of shit for. They just turned up and skipped the queue, and everyone was like, "You fucking piece of shit! You fucking piece of shit!" I know you gotta be on TV at a specific time every single day because it's live, but you fucking piece of shit! You could not have missed it. Could you not have missed it, or were you out all night at these gay clubs, huh? But nah, fair play. Whatever you want to do. Who gives a shit? If you want to go and fucking wait for 12 hours to fucking bow your head once and go home, no bother. If you want to sit at home and be like, she has colonized people. She is genocidal. I did see something where they're like, yeah, she's been a ruthless genocidal fucking blah blah blah, and then there was some dude on some interview with a counterpoint where he was like, he's like, how's she genocidal if these people are still around to complain about her? And you're like, fucking booyah. Also, that's a bit like Mike Tyson when there's like, do you hit your girlfriend? He goes, of course I don't hit her, because if I hit her, she'd be fucking dead. You know what I mean? So, yeah. I mean, it's one of them things, it was just an old lady passing away, but then also it's more what they represent, I don't know how much of a hand they have in things these days, but it's more of just what they represent. Colonialism. But then again, there's plenty of people in the fucking queue from all sorts of Commonwealth type places. I mean, is Commonwealth the same? Did they colonize those places? Yeah, I mean, I'm not a smart person. But, you had fucking Fijians and all sorts turning up, and, one of their little marks of respect is instead of bowing, they'll sit on the floor for a second, which is quite nice. And the guy did it with a baby strapped to him. I seen him do that. That was pretty cute. I seen full-blown, Native Americans turning up there with the headdress on. I don't know how authentic or whatever the fuck that was, but who knows? Maybe they have a rep. They just send one guy out. Go ahead. And then hits him with the old native name. Go ahead, flies with plane. You head over to London there. Give it the old, thank you very much, ma'am. But yeah, it's an old spectacle. It is an old spectacle to watch now. Fucking big sausage fingers. He was there crying his lamps out. That's the real star of this whole thing. It's the Queen passed away, and if you're sad about it, that's a sad thing. And if you're not, at least we got to find out that King Charles, by Christ, his fingers look like he bought them in Cookstown, basically, is what I'm saying. The guy has got some fat cock fingers. It might be fluid, who knows? But the dude's not sending texts quickly, is what I'm saying. Big old hands. Don't know what that's from, big old fat fingers. Maybe it's from doing clean fuck all your whole life. Who knows? I don't know. Just maybe it's from diddling. Fuck it. No, we'll not even go there. I mean, speaking of diddling kids, Andrew, bro, the dude's just having to keep his face straight and fucking stroll about. People are like, you fucking pedo. And you just gotta fucking deal with that, bro. That's what you gotta deal with if you want to walk this earth for free, is people shouting that shit at you forever. If you're gonna keep yourself out of jail by keeping someone quiet with a large chunk of your mother's money, that's the trade-off. I can walk about free as a bird, but people will be shouting pedo at me. And what he should have done is keep his fucking face straight and look straight ahead of him and just go about his day. And, instead of doing that, he would check out, like, flowers and stuff left by members of the public and red cards and basically just groped someone on the ass which I happened to see. I happened to see that clip. He's like standing his arm around someone. It could be his daughter. I don't know who the fuck. It probably wouldn't surprise me. And he's talking, and then he just kind of leans down to read something and just gives her the full fucking, you know, like he's about to buy a horse, just round her ass like that. And then down. Rest in peace, Mom. Then back up. Yeah, right round them cheeks, babe. Just like he was fucking, you know what I mean? Just patting the horse. I don't even sweat. And then all these cunts, you know, I don't know much about the military, but you know, what is it with these royals coming out like they fought in fucking every war that ever happened? Medals hanging off them. Oh, well, this one is for the time that I said the word Iraq, and they just give me one. This other one is when I watched a film about the Vietnam War, and boom, there it is, medal appeared. I own an Afghan hound, so that's why I got this one, for Afghanistan. What other fucking wars? Oh, yes, the Falklands. Oh, I said the word Falklands again. Can I get the fucking, can I get the medal? Thank you. I don't know if I talked about seeing these clips on the internet of people, you know, being interviewed about fighting at the Falklands, but tell you what, it sounded pretty bleak. Not that any war seems fun, but you know, you might be at a war where there's a lot of fucking bit of that shit. These boys are like, oh yeah, I just fucking jumped in a trench and just knifed some dude all through his face and throat in the pissing cold wind, and you're like, oh my god. Oh. For the Queen. Was he saying that at the time? For the Queen, though. Take that, babes. But anyway, it's been quite the week. And, yep. Strange enough. They showed a clip. You know, I love a good conspiracy, you know. But I don't, well, it's not really a conspiracy. They showed a clip about the Queen. And, she'd obviously been at several sort of high-profile funerals over the years, and there's a part where you like walk past and fucking nod at the fucking hearse going past. You walk past and give it one of those, hello, and they were saying she had never done that before, but only did it once, and that was at Diana's funeral, where it went past, and she was like, which is weird, you know, because, you know, you don't want to read into it, but a lot of people are like, she's gotta go. She's gotta go. Can't be, you know, mixing with other races. This is conspiracy. You know, there's people have talked about that, like, you know, maybe the monarchy could be mixing their bloodlines, and she happened to be good out with Dodi Al-Fayed, and they were like, fucking can't be doing this anymore. Fuck that. Couple of deadlands. All of a sudden she goes into the wall in a tunnel somewhere. Once again, Gordo from those conspiracy guys will be turning in his fucking office chair with the lack of detail I'm going into here. But maybe, you know, it makes you think, you know, just like as it goes past, she goes, as if like, what a terrible thing, but also nice one. I mean, I'm talking pure shit, like, I am. You'd have to be a cold son of a bitch to be like killing the mother of your fucking grandchildren. But then again, you never know. You never know with these royals. But who knows? Who's in charge of the corgis now? Oh God, it would break your heart. Oh Jesus. Oh Jesus, it would break your heart. Anyway, in other news, Ariel is black now. Everyone's chiming in on the internet. They've made the Little Mermaid, and they've made her a little black girl. And they can make her anything, because at the end of the day, it's a fucking cartoon. So they can make it anything. What? Email from BT. Yeah, they you know, it's quite literally fiction. So you know, it can be whatever the fuck they want. Trans fish. I mean, you kind of, kind of a trans species anyway, you know? Dying. I mean, of course you've heard all the jokes, you know what I mean? Fucking black women don't get in water and all, whatever the fuck. But, yeah, I can't say I can, I'm a bit like the Queen dying there. Like, I don't give a fuck at all. People are getting, if you're a fucking grown adult, you're going, it's gotta be kept the same as it's always been. I love it. I've got childhood memories. Well, then watch the fucking first one. Who gives a fuck? Who gives a shit? What's more annoying is nobody makes anything new anymore. They're like, what's the most controversial remake of some other shit that we can just fucking shit out again? They'll be like, oh my god, they're remaking Titanic. Except it's two fucking gays. Or something. That'd be fucking great. As if that movie's not gay enough. You know what I mean? Just when they're at the front of the boat. That's me inside, Jack. Absolute shite I'm talking. But, yeah, I can't give a fuck, I cannot give a fuck. I mean, if anything, something that's nice was, they kept showing, like, little girls' reactions. Like, black girls' reactions to the video, as they played the trailer. They were like, oh my god, she's fucking black. Oh, she's got fucking dreadlocks like me, man. Crazy. And that's sweet. And if you showed that to a little white girl from fucking Ireland who's probably never been around black people ever, for the most part, if you showed her the trailer for the mermaid thing, she'd probably be like, oh, this looks great. So it's a win-win. But if you're an adult with an issue with that, you take a good look at yourself. I don't think that this is acceptable, that this fictional cartoon, someone has color graded it with a different skin tone. I don't think this fictional wee girl who can, like, swim underwater without fucking breathing, with somehow the bottom half of her body is a fish. I take issue with her skin tone, to be honest with you. Not to mention what sort of relationship her parents were in. You know what I mean? Don't want to say too much, but you know what I mean. Like, someone's dad's been doing the dirty over at the fish counter in fucking Tesco's. Man went to fucking explore us there for a night. Come back smelling a bit fishy. Up to his nuts and guts. Ramen a salmon, that boy. Let me see. Yeah, no one ever asked that question. Never mind her skin tone. Which one of her parents was fucking a fish? You know what I mean? Anyway. Ariel, the Little Mermaid. Let's get a look at the old one. I mean, this is one of the. Okay, there's the girl there. That's the new girl. And here, never mind the fact the bottom half of her body's a fish. Where'd she get a bikini? She's went and sorted herself out with a fucking. She just went in somewhere, like Primark, and she's like, "Can I just get the top? Do you want the bottoms come free? I've nowhere to put them, to be honest with you." Oh, sorry, I didn't realize there were a bit of a fish there. Aye, well, this is the thing, my dad worked in Explorers for a while, and it'd be good if she had this voice as well. What's the crack, lads? I'm Ariel. Don't let that smell get to you. Old school Ariel, even though she's cartoon, bit of a pace, let's face it. And then she's also got that weird mate who's an octopus, like the old drag queen. And how many women have you seen? That's exactly the woman who would be complaining about the skin color of the new Ariel. She's got that short hair, lipstick on. Jesus Christ, no way have I got a wee black girl in the sea, for fuck's sake. Sure, who's doing her fucking dreadlocks under her? Jeez. Is that her in real life? Oh, she fucking looks like a cartoon, for fuck's sake. But anyway, yeah, who gives a shit? Let's do some goddamn questions. Hey, welcome to the podcast where I talk about things I don't care about today. Zac Efron, everyone's like, oh, bro, you got fucking plastic surgery. And he's like, well, didn't want to say it, but they actually fell off a fucking ledge or something and broke my jaw, had to get it reconstructed. Oh, yeah, and while you were under the knife, bro, did they just fucking chuck the lips and the nose in? Full of shit. Let me see this. This won't appear on the screen. This is for the audio, guys. Zac Efron, plastic surgery, before, and I was typing the other day and I had to get Aaron McCann to do it, and then I just dictated notes to him. Let me see. Yeah, dudes. I mean, you might have got the jaw. Well, do you know what? Maybe they were like, do you know what? You've smashed your jaw. Let's reconstruct it. But while we're at it, we'll make you look like a fucking superhero. But he's, yeah, don't know. Fuck me. What is going on there, bro? Like, once again, not that I give a fuck about what Zac Efron looks like, but he looks very pretty there, and then he looks kind of a bit more cartoonish masculine. If he broke his jaw, they'd definitely just give him a new chin and lips and jaw. And nose and cheeks, strangely enough. But, it's all good. This is the trappings of being attractive, guys. And I'm speaking from experience. This is the issue. If your whole fucking business is you being good looking, it's a nightmare. Because as soon as it starts to slip, even a slight bit, you're like, oh, god damn it. Gotta get something done here. Gets a wee bit done here, a wee bit over here. And as Bill Burr said once, you don't just polish the bumper of your car. You're going to keep going. So I dare say Zac Efron in about 10 years is going to look like Pete Burton's, but it's all good. There's a value, guys, in cruising at about a 4. And that's the choice I've tried to make. Some people will hear that comment and go, listen, get us a 4? In what fucking world? But just cruise at a 4, bro. Cruise at a 4 or 5. That appreciates when I have a strange idea. When I'm 45, I could show you a photo of me when I was like 25, and they won't be far off. They won't be far off. 'Cause that's what happens, you know what I mean? They say black don't crack. Bald doesn't get old. And that barely rhymes. What in the fuck noise was that? God damn it. We put questions out on the Patreon, guys, and today we're going to answer them on the regular podcast. We normally do it on the Patreon, but we're mixing it up today. There's a picture of a gorilla on a seat. Fantastic. With 20 questions, let's just sail through these. Have you heard what will be happening on the 24th of September? I said regarding what? Regarding the TikTok conspiracy about that date. Oh my God. TikTok conspiracy. Conspiracy. Look at that. It won't even guess the word conspiracy. Conspiracy, bitch. What the fuck is that? Let me see. Conspiracy 20. I'm gonna write 24th Sept. Google's not gonna give me this shit because they fucking just conspiracy theory chart goes viral on TikTok. Okay, that was it. Let me just see if I can fucking zoom in on this son of a bitch. There's a lot of detail. Holocaust Memorial Day. What is all this shit? What the fuck is all this shit? Why can't I read that shit? This must be great listening. This must be great listening. Motherfucker. conspiracy theories TikTok search. Yeah, I see. It doesn't seem to be giving me much here, boys. Doesn't seem to be giving me much here. This is absolutely great listening. Let me see if I can get that. I can't even get it. Oh wait. Angabat. QAnon, deep state. Anti-Semitic point of no return. 5G. Reality denial. Titanic never sank. Leaving reality. Area 51. Speculation line. I'm going to look into this. Okay? Abby Richards' conspiracy chart went viral explaining how information can ramp up from true to harmful, disconnected from reality. Yep, I'm going to look into that. Yeah, of course it can. I mean, COVID was a fucking perfect example of that. Where, like, it was coming at you so hard and fast, people would just chuck any old shit in the mix. The fucking vaccine's got 5G in it. Oh my god! What the fuck are you talking about, bro? Detached from reality, grounded in reality. Yeah, I'm going to get a better quality version. I can't see it, for fuck's sake. Plandemic. Wayfare trafficking. Oh, that was a clinker, boys. You know, when they were like, they are trafficking children in flat pack fucking packages. I bet they are. This is what cracks me up. Some conspiracy theories are like as if evil people that are doing evil or crime or whatever have the time to think of like some sort of master plan to hide it behind. You know, this is how they fucking slowly take power off you. They make you get a vaccine and blah blah blah. Why wouldn't they just take power? Why would they not just take it? What the fuck? What the fuck would any of us do if a government just decided, yeah, we're just going to lay these rules down and kill you if you don't follow them? You can't really do anything. Which is why a lot of people live in Texas, where you can have, you know, a lot of guns and shit and protect yourself. But anyway, as I sit here talking to myself in a garage, we'll move on. I'm going to look into that chart and see what the fuck it means. Who, in your opinion, is on the Mount Rushmore of comedy? So that's from Michael Jardine, who has been listening to this podcast longer than I've been doing it. Shout out, Big Mike. Okay, so you're gonna have to go with people who are like founders almost. Let me write on my remarkable pad, which is absolutely the most retarded purchase I've ever made. It's a digital notebook. It's just looks like a page, and I write in it, and then I save all the notes. It's quite, I mean, for me, handy as fuck, because I have about 15 notebooks, diaries, stand-up books, books with sets in it, book for laveries. Now it's all in this one place. It feels like an ad, but absolutely fucking ludicrous purchase. So you would have, you're gonna have to include people who sort of are the reason why there is modern stand-up and why you can have a career in it. So I'm going to go ahead and say Lenny Bruce. Because he was a big free speech guy and went to jail several times for that. I mean, the stand-up's not exactly blistering. Pryor, obviously. Pryor. I'm gonna see what there's definitely t-shirts with this shit on it. You can nearly have one every fucking generation. Mount Rushmore of comedy. Someone's made one. There was Louis, Chappelle, Burr. Okay, there's one there, right? These are the people I was gonna put down anyway, right? Lenny Bruce, Pryor, Carlin. This is the same, but it has, is that Groucho Marx on it? Don't know about that. God, it's controversial because it's like who would you put down? Because there's a lot of people that you could include that like revolutionized comedy as it came along. You know, you could have a fucking Chappelle in there. You could have a Louis in there. Chappelle, maybe if Mount Rushmore had about 8 people on it. Oh god, it's tough. I'm just looking around. I mean, Bill Hicks. There's an argument there for that. There is an argument there for that for sure. Oh dear. There's one just says Brendan Schaub like fucking 3 times. Talk about a guy taking a hammering and just keeping on going. Yeah, I think we're gonna set. I mean, you could say Cosby, like, you know what I mean. You could say Cosby. You could also say Seinfeld, because, I mean, it's not an ancient art, stand-up comedy. You know, being an old court jester is old, like, but Cosby could be in there as like a TV crossover success type guy. Joan Rivers. That's my one, because I can't decide on those 3. I'm gonna go Lenny Bruce, George Carlin, Richard Pryor, Joan Rivers, and then the subs on the bench: Hicks, Cosby, Seinfeld. And I'm not there. You know, a lot of those people aren't particularly my favorites. But if you're talking sort of cultural relevance, etc., who knows? You could be here all fucking night. With all the pageantry surrounding the Queen's funeral, what everyday mundane task would you like to see receive state funeral status? Imagine going to the butcher's behind 3 lines of armed guards. Oh yeah, bro, that's great. Oh god. No joke, and I've fucking talked about it forever and a day. See if someone could just form an armed circle around me and march me through Belfast International Airport without me having to fucking look at anyone. I would pay good money for that. Can you take your fucking... Guy actually said to me one time, I've got one bag of like gear in it, like fucking camera gear. He's like, can you take all the gear out? No. I take it all out. Wires, cables, XLRs, sound recorders, cards, you name it. I take it all out. Guy takes the laptop, runs it through the machine about 6 times, and he goes, sorry, the machine couldn't see through a laptop. And I was like, oh, well, who the fuck can see through metal, you div? And then at the end he goes, I listened to your podcast and all. And I went, well then why the fuck did you have to dismantle this bag if you know exactly why I have a bag full of recording gear? Just fucking my white knuckles gripped around my fucking leather belt that I had to take off. I'm like, it was strategically packed, and now I gotta shove it all back in. You fucking gimp. Get me to Starbucks, where the fucking, the state, the armed guards can also walk me to the front for me to pay £6 for a flat white. Anyway, cheers, Aisling, for that question. How does Glenn... Oh, that's his full name because he's slagging. How much does Mary Peters milk that gold medal? Oh, bro, I don't even know what the fuck she won it for, to be honest with you. But, as far as, like, Olympic achievements, I'm sure she's one of the more famous ones from Northern Ireland. Probably get bombarded with messages for that. There's a guy that's fucking 8-time fucking Olympic medalist for fucking shooting or something. That's usually what people... I mean, that's the joke from here, isn't it? Of course someone won fucking gold in a shooting. Fuck me. In these unpredictable times of cost of living going through the roof, is there a better time to sell all the scrap and show Mickey what a real Audi is? And that is from a guy called Adam. Are you selling this car? Oh Jesus, tense. I don't know what's going on with my with me at the minute. At a certain age, you just, if you have more than like 2 coffees, your jaw is like tense. So, yep, he sent me this RS6 Audi Avant, which, I mean, would I take this myself? Yes. This is probably a bit of an old splurgy car. Like, if I was going to get myself, well, I don't know. I am a Mercedes guy, but in a way, the old RS6 or something like that kind of is that is the estate. That is the sporty estate. Unless you want like a fucking C63 or something like that. Mark. But that's some weapon, sir. Are you selling that? 34 grand. Speedy enough, I'll fucking yoke down there. Get your skis on the top. Anyway, that was just me perving on a car for a second. Any tapas recommendations for Edo? I would just, because it's not mad expensive for the quality that you're getting. So what I would do is I would just pick about 6 things that you like the look of and just fucking buy them. But any of the steaks good, you know. The wee fish things are good. I would definitely get those Padron peppers or whatever you call them. Great stuff. Stephen Adams, fuck, marry, kill, shoes, hats, watches. Huh? Oh, right, I'll start with kill. If I had to kill one, I'd say watches. Because the watches is like a fucking distraction. Marry the shoes, fuck the hats. And I'm glad we had that conversation. Will you be doing a Christmas special live podcast gig? Probably. Camilla's fanny must be in some order, like a ripped out fireplace. Charlie's fingers, fucking hell. Alright, okay. Yeah, I mean, we went over that the other week, comparing the Diana and fucking Camilla pictures. Unfair, I'd say, but I mean, what can you do, man? Have you seen Action Bronson is due to make his pro wrestling debut this week? I did see that, and I'm not a big wrestling fan, but I'll tell you something. The man can do no wrong. Are you recording? Yes. My own wife? Yes. Well, this is live. This will be on the podcast. Near done. Will I write love? Near done, love. Yeah, the guy can do whatever the fuck he wants. It's very impressive. He can rap. He can sell fucking olive oil. He can do oil paintings badly. He can fucking lift weights now. And you know, his demeanor is quite pro wrestler-esque. A lot of references to wrestling. A lot of references to old bodybuilders. Off the top rope, fucking, you know, all these references, all wrestling based. I think he'd be great. What's your take on Brendan Schaub's stand up? People have talked about this, right? In many shapes and forms. There's nothing stopping anybody doing anything. You know, I think if you want to go ahead and do stand up, go do it. I mean, whether you're Brendan Schaub or fucking Bill Burr, you're still under scrutiny. People are still going to give you shit in some form. It's just his, you know, he's in good company. You know, he's got mates that are famous comedians, and you know, he's probably picked up a few tricks pretty quickly. But it's just it's like being a famous guy starting comedy when you're kind of supposed to be not famous for a long time till you're really good and then get famous. So he probably knows that. He probably knows he's gonna get shit. He probably doesn't give a flying fuck as he tears off in a Bentley. But I think Tim Dillon and Louis J. Gomez were talking about this. It was like he's won. They were like, you've won. You're a fucking tall, like, good-looking fighter who's rich, and now you're pretending to be a silly sort of court jester, and it's like there's a bit of truth to that. Like, you know, a way for him to avoid the stick would be, I'm just doing live podcast shows where I do a bit of stand up, which is kind of coming across as, oh, he's just on stage doing a bit of chatting. There's something about labeling it as stand up, like, come see me headline this place, and you're maybe not ready for it yet. Is going to leave you open for slagging. But again, once again, who gives a shit? Don't watch it if you don't like it. I've listened to fucking hundreds of his podcasts with various people, like, so I don't dislike him because his stand-up's cack. And then that whole shit with Bobby Lee and all, it's weird dude. But anyway, let's see. Getting married in Orlando next month. Unfortunately, I'll miss your big gig in the SSC. Could I cancel the wedding in sunny Orlando and come see you and the missus? I'm sure she will understand. Listen, we're gonna do a couple of things, and you're gonna find out about them, and you're gonna wish you had a fucking flown home. Is all I'm saying. Exclusive. We got one more question here. Congratulations, by the way, Darren, for playing. In your many travels, have you also sunny Orlando? Jesus Christ. In your many travels, have you ever visited Vegas or any of the Disney destinations? Never been to Vegas. Strangely, don't really have a fucking urge to go, if I'm being fully honest. I would go. I would love to go and see a fight in Las Vegas, and then, you know, avoid a couple of shootouts, and then I would definitely go for something, or if I was passing through, I don't know if I would book myself like fucking 2 weeks. Disney things, nah. But I dare say we'll be heading there once the child's old enough to understand what the fuck's going on. Run into Aaron Butler while I'm over there. James McLaughlin, I'm quitting alcohol podcast. David Boyle, heard it, would recommend. Have not heard it. I'm quitting fucking alcohol. I'm fucking bored shitless of it. I mean, that's a weird way to fucking quit booze, isn't it? Just turn around and be like, I hate this shit. I'm bored. Anyway, that was the end of our questions, my guys. The battery is running out. I'm going to get the fuck out of here. Colguest.com for tour details and all that shit. Cheers for listening. I'm going to go listen to David Boyle's Quitting Alcohol podcast, whatever that is. Anyway, take care of yourselves, guys. Get on the Patreon for bonus podcasts, and come see me on tour. Big fucking kisses. All the best.